Well, friends, it has finally happened. After almost a decade of collecting and waiting and wishing and dreaming, brand new Wizard of Oz Funko Pops have finally arrived, and there's reason to believe that there might be more on the way. Welcome to Teacup for One. My name is Matt and I have 2 degrees, and if you know me, you know that there are 2 things I love above all else. Well, not above all else, but like tied with Disney, Shakespeare, and cats. And those things are Funko Pops and the Wizard of Oz. And if you don't know me, some things you should know about me. My name is Matt and I have 2 degrees, and there are 2 things I love above all else. Funko Pops and the Wizard of Oz. Now, I have been a Wizard of Oz collector for quite literally my entire life, and I've been a Funko Pop collector for quite literally, like, I don't know, 5 years or something like that. I got into the Funko Pop collecting game long after the Wizard of Oz Funko Pops were out of circulation and into the vault. Wizard of Oz Funko Pops are, like, top-tier Funko Pop grails, but so few Funko Pop collectors actually have them in their collection. And I'd go as far as to say, not a ton of Wizard of Oz collectors have them in their collection either. I mean, I'm just speaking from experience because, like, I am a pretty avid Wizard of Oz collector. I mean, I'm no Tori from the Oz vlog, but I've got a pretty respectable collection. But the only Oz Funko Pop I personally have is the Flying Monkey, but we'll get into that in a little bit. For today's video, I thought it would be fun to look at the past, present, and the future of Wizard of Oz Funko Pops. And now, if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'm going to take this opportunity to say please, 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 please subscribe to the channel. I want to get at least 2,000 subscribers. And also, if you don't subscribe to the channel, but you're just here for some Wizard of Oz content, please, please, please go watch my video on the history of Wizard of Oz theme parks, because I think those might be my 2 favorite videos I released last year. And like, they're very niche, but they don't get a ton of views. So yeah, if you're here for the Oz content, I have more. Go watch it. As I promised in my last video, I am going to do a full unboxing and review of the Wizard of Oz. Wait, hold on. I memorized this for the TikTok I did recently. For the Funko The Wizard of Oz Diamond Edition Pops movie poster Dorothy and Toto vinyl figure. It's a mouthful, but that's what it is. So I am going to do a full unboxing and review of this, but like, in a little bit. If you're just here for that, skip ahead. But first, I want to look at the history of Wizard of Oz Funko Pops, because as I mentioned, there's an entire line of characters that is out there in the world somewhere, but is very difficult and very expensive to get your hands on. So how did we actually get to this place? How did Wizard of Oz Funko Pops become such an elusive, valuable thing, not only in the Funko community, but also in the Wizard of Oz collector community? I mean, I think it comes down to how early the Wizard of Oz Pops were released just in the history of Funko Pops. Funko Pops started being mass-produced and distributed around 2010, 2011, I would say, and the Wizard of Oz Pops are some of the very first Funko Pop movie pops to be released. If you're not a Funko collector, for a little bit of context, every Funko Pop is part of a series. Sometimes these collections will be franchise specific. For example, Pop Star Wars. But for the most part, Pop collections are more generic. So we're looking at things like Pop Television, where you would find the Seinfeld characters, or Pop Ad Icons, where you would find like the McDonald's characters, such as the McNuggets. The Wizard of Oz Pops are part of the Pop Movies collection. But they're not just part of the Pop Movies collection, they are some of the first ever Pop Movies Funko Pops. If you want a little bit of context, this Toto Funko Pop, which just came out last year, he's a part of the Pop Movies collection, at least I'm pretty sure he is, and he is number 1,276. That means that there were over 1,200, well, 1,275 to be exact, Funko Pops in the movie collection before little Toto came around. Dorothy is Pop Movies Pop number 7. She was released in 2011, and her trending value right now on the Pop Price Guide in US funds is $200. This thing is worth $200. And I mean, I'm a huge Wizard of Oz fan. I don't know that I would actually pay that for this. This is giving me like Times Square, Las Vegas Strip knockoff Dorothy, as opposed to MGM Grand Las Vegas circa 1994 Dorothy. It's a niche reference. If you watch my History of Wizard of Oz theme park videos, that reference will make sense. So I guess all that to say, they started off I want to say they started off strong. They started off. There was room to grow, and they did grow. That's why we love Funko Pops now. But the original run of Wizard of Oz Pops was only 3 characters. We had Dorothy, which was number 7, the Wicked Witch of the West, which was number 8, and the Winged Monkey, which was number 9. Now, truth be told, I absolutely love the design of the Winged Monkey. And personally, I think his design holds up to the standard that I want to see from Funko Pops that are being released today. But even the Wicked Witch of the West isn't that bad. There's a lot of great detail in her costume, and, I mean, it is relatively simplistic, but we are getting some hints of personality through those eyebrows. The Wicked Witch of the West is currently trending at $310, and the Winged Monkey is trending at $155. But those are for the cheap versions of those pops. That's right, they get more expensive. Okay, so for a little bit of context, these pops were released in 2010-2011. 2011 was seemingly also one of the first years that Funko had a major presence at San Diego Comic-Con. They had this beautiful booth, and alongside that booth, they had convention exclusives, among which were metallic versions of the Wicked Witch of the West and of the Winged Monkey. The metallic versions of each pop were limited to 480 pieces. And they're valued at a lot more than $310/$155, let me tell you that. If you wanted to pick up the San Diego Comic-Con metallic Winged Monkey today, it would set you back around $1,500 US, and for the metallic Wicked Witch of the West San Diego Comic-Con, that's around $1,600 US. And it doesn't end there. There are even more expensive Wizard of Oz Funko Pops that debuted at San Diego Comic-Con. Specifically, Freddy Funko Pops. Okay, so the Freddy Funko Wizard of Oz Pops that debuted at San Diego Comic-Con. I say debuted, that were around for sale. I tried to do research. I have no idea how people managed to get their hands on these pops, because if you thought 480 pieces was limited, just you wait. So clearly, Funko shared my affinity, is that the right word? Funko shared my love for the Winged Monkey because they decided to transform their mascot, Freddy Funko, into the Winged Monkey. There was a common version, as well as a metallic version. The common Freddy Funko, as Winged Monkey, was limited to only 48 pieces, and is currently valued at over $3,000 US. And the metallic version was limited to 12 pieces, currently valued at like almost $6,000 US. Although for only 12 pieces, I feel like 6,000 is low. Is that just me? I'm not gonna go spend 6,000 on a metallic Freddy Funko as the Winged Monkey, but I feel like somebody would. Alright, so those are the 3 Wizard of Oz Funko Pops that released originally in 2011. Dorothy, Wicked Witch of the West, and Winged Monkey. Fast forward to 2013, that's when the rest of the cast joins them, with figure number 38, which is the Tin Woodsman, figure 39, which is the Scarecrow, 40, which is the Cowardly Lion, and 41, which is Glinda, the Witch of the North. Now today, the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Cowardly Lion are all valued in and around $100, but Glinda is the hot seller. Glinda's trending value is currently at $250, and I don't know why. To quote RuPaul's Drag Race, I think, I look at this Glinda pop, I feel like the dress is wearing her versus her wearing the dress. But anyway, her and the Wicked Witch of the West are the 2 highest valued pops in the collection, like the highest valued commons. And I'm questioning if that has anything to do with Wicked. Maybe that's the only parallel I can draw, who knows. The one exception would be the Cowardly Lion. I mean, not the common. The common is actually the most affordable in this entire collection, but there was a flocked variant that was released for Gemini Collectibles. Flocked means fuzzy. And yeah, his trending value is $250. So, good for him. But you know what? Looking at the second wave of these Oz Pops, overall, I like them a lot more. Specifically, Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Cowardly Lion. Because I feel with these Pops, we're starting to see the characteristics, and we're starting to see Funko Pops evolve into what they are today. We're starting to see them evolve into the figures that made me fall in love with them in the first place. We're starting to see personality. We're starting to see character traits. We're starting to see a soul, as opposed to that early Dorothy Funko Pop that just has dead eyes and I feel is like a child of the damned that's going to come to life and kill me in my sleep. And I think that's largely in part because these are characters that just are not human. So in order to do something that was evocative of like the aesthetic design of the characters, they had to go one step further than just having like the human sculpt and having the two little Funko eyes. So that's my theory. Who knows? So there it is. The original Wizard of Oz Funko Pop collection. If you were lucky enough to get all of these common pops when they first released, and if you were foolish enough to want to try to sell them today, you could get almost $1,300 for them. Over $1,300 US. Canadian, that's like almost $2,000. I'm only exaggerating ever so slightly. So I'm just going to ask the question we're all thinking, how the bleep did that happen? I think the reason that the price has been driven up so much is because they sit at this perfect cross-section of Funko Pop collectors and Wizard of Oz collectors. And I think I'm the perfect case study. I mean, like I've said, I had the opportunity to buy all of these pops at retail price, and I did not. I mean, it's partially because I was a student at the time, I was unemployed, so I just bought the pop that spoke the most to me, which was the winged monkey, because I was going through my mid-20s flying monkey phase, as we all do. But how was I to know? How was I to know that 10 years later, I would have almost 500 of these things in my possession? How was I to know that I would build an Instagram entirely around my collection of these creepy dead-eyed dolls? I didn't know. And so here I am, an avid Wizard of Oz collector, an avid Funko collector who is devoid of Wizard of Oz Funko Pops. And so yes, if I had the disposable income, without a question, without a doubt, I would drop the $1,000+ to get all of those pops in my possession. But I like paying for rent, food, and car insurance more than I would like having the entire Wizard of Oz collection in my possession. No, truthfully, obviously, if this was high priority for me, I could have budgeted over the past few years to like really get these pops in my possession. But here's the thing. I'm more of a Wizard of Oz fan than I am a Funko fan. And let me explain what I mean by that. The only reason I would want this entire collection in my possession would be to have Funko Pops of Wizard of Oz characters. And as I've said, I'm not in love with the designs of like half of these characters. And so I've just been holding out hope that maybe, eventually one day, Funko would release a new wave of Wizard of Oz characters, kind of meeting the design standards that we've been seeing from them in their Funko Pops over the past like 4 to 5 years. And I was starting to lose hope. And then one day, last year, it's like the great and powerful Oz granted my request, and Funko announced that they were going to be releasing a brand new Toto Funko Pop as part of their Pops with Purpose collection. So $5, I think, of every Toto sale went to benefit the ASPCA. So helping out animals, absolutely love that. Toto Funko Pop, absolutely love that as well. And this figure did not disappoint. Everything I was saying that I was missing from those original Wizard of Oz Funko Pops, you know, like detail and personality, they delivered tenfold. The fact that they were able to give so much cuteness and so much personality in such a simple character is a testament to how far Funko has come with their designs. You just look at this and you can tell that it's Toto. There's something about his cheeky little grin, plus all the characterization that comes out in his eyes because of the detailing and the sculpt around his eyebrows, and the color gradient. I mean, it would be so easy for them to just say, boom, here's a solid brown dog. But no, we're getting texture. It is gorgeous. So, this was the first indicator that maybe Funko was going to start giving us brand new Wizard of Oz Pops, and it wasn't long until they sprung this on us.
Is that the
Funko the Wizard of Oz Diamond Edition Pops movie poster Dorothy and Total vinyl figure? Yeah, it is. Let's unbox this. Okay, actually, before we unbox this, let's just take a moment to appreciate how beautiful the box actually is. I'm kind of inclined to leave it in the box because I think, as a display piece, it kind of adds a nice pop of color. Plus, I just like having the Funko representation, like having the Pop logo up there. And there are some interesting things going on here. Like, it's telling us that this is part of the Pops movie poster collection. It's number 10 in the set. But more importantly, if you turn it around, like, yes, we got this beautiful display of the poster and an illustration of the Pops, but right up here, it's telling us that this is part of the Warner Brothers 100th Anniversary Collection. And we're going to dive into what that means in terms of Wizard of Oz merchandising in just a little bit. But if you read all the wording right here, it's giving us a ton of classic movie titles. And it's making me wonder if that means we could potentially see either Funko Pops or merchandise for some, if not all, of these movies going forward into the year. Take my money right now, Funko. Okay, let's unbox this. Why is it so hard to take out of the box? Alright, here we are. First observation. It does have the plastic wrap, the shrink wrap all around it. I was about to tear it off before I realized the Diamond Edition sticker is actually on the plastic wrap. So, if you're one of those Funko Pop collectors, which seemingly I'm turning into, which I swore I would never turn into, but if you're a Funko Pop collector who cares even a little bit about stickers, just be aware that if you take the plastic wrap off, you're taking the sticker off. I mean, it's entirely possible maybe you can peel the sticker off and put it back on, but I don't know if I want to have sticker residue on the casing. I don't know. It's to each their own, to each their own. First observation, and this is something that I knew was coming because this is what I witnessed when I got the Lion King VHS cover. You cannot remove these pops from the casing. At this point, I think that's kind of common knowledge among all the Funko Pop collectors, but if you're a Wizard of Oz collector who hasn't dealt with Funko Pops in like this form before, in a plastic prison as it were, just know the only way to remove the pops is to essentially break the entire display piece. And like, they are not meant to be removed from this casing, to the point where Dorothy and Toto are both quite literally bolted to the back of the box. This is intended to be displayed as is. Alright, let's start by looking at the individual components that make up this set. Starting with the actual poster, which is kind of the centerpiece of this entire thing because it's a Funko Pop's movie poster set. Now, with a movie like Wizard of Oz, they had like over 80 years worth of poster designs that they could have picked from. But I think the key with putting these sets together is picking a poster that is, first of all, relatively close to the film's original release, as well as a poster that's going to summon all the feelings of nostalgia. Now, I'm pretty familiar with the aesthetic of the posters that came out with the film's original release back in the 30s, and like, for the most part, they all looked like variations of this. Big block lettering at the top, with a lot of images and stills from the actual film, because I feel like in the 30s, they were more so selling the movie based on the actors and the faces as opposed to the characters. And I think this is a poster that's very much selling you the characters. Like, it's giving us Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion, as opposed to selling us on Judy Garland, Ray Bolger, Jack Haley, and Burt Lahr. So, after doing some very labor-intensive Googling, I was able to deduce that this poster seemingly came out in the 1970s alongside a re-release of the film. I don't personally mind. I do love those original 1930s style posters, but I think that this works for what the set is. With that said, there is a lot of white, and I'm still not sure how I feel about that. I do like that it doesn't distract from the pop, but I would also like to see a few more additional splashes of color. But let's talk about the pops. It is so refreshing to see a well done Dorothy Funko Pop after that other thing has been the only Dorothy Funko Pop representation in circulation for over 10 years. This is stunning. It's giving me all of that personality, all of that detail, everything that I love about current Funko Pop designs, and she's a frickin' giant. I love the color that they went with for her hair. Initially I thought it looked like it was a little too bright, but then I went back and reviewed some footage from the film, and this is pretty true to the light brown hair that Judy Garland had in the movie. I think it's kind of like a Cinderella's dress anomaly where merchandising over the years has led me to believe that her hair was a different color than it actually was in the movie. I mean, even look at this poster. Her hair is basically black. But yeah, they got the hair color spot on. They also got the hair design spot on. The detail in the braids, perfect. And if we're talking about perfection, the level of detail they were able to accomplish in the patterning on her dress, I think that is just another indicator of how far Funko has come over the past decade for how they detail and how they paint their figures. Because if you just look at the original Dorothy Pop, it's just like almost like a checkerboard. Whereas this, it's like it's a full out gingham gradient, and I am here for it. And of course, the ruby slippers. This is Diamond Edition done right. I have so many issues with Diamond Edition Pops because I feel like they're just throwing glitter where glitter shouldn't be. This is classy. This is glitter where it belongs. It is bringing those ruby slippers to life, and I love it. Now, Toto. Okay, here's the thing. I feel like if we didn't have that Toto Pop last year, I would be in love with this figure. But the standalone Toto Pop is so cute, and this one, he looks angry. This looks like angry Toto. He doesn't have that cheeky little grin. Instead, he has a kind of intimidating grimace, if not a growl going on. He doesn't have those warm brown tones in his fur. He's more of like a gray. I don't know. I almost wish they just took this pop and like plopped him down next to Dorothy in the set and called it a day. The one area in which I feel this Toto Pop is superior to this Toto Pop is that this one is out of the basket. We get to see his full little dog body, tail and all. It's adorable. And I love how they've captured the motion in this Toto sculpt. It's actually something that I'm missing from Dorothy because it looks like she's just standing there. My one constructive piece of criticism is that I would have liked to have seen Dorothy being in a little bit more motion. You know, and that's not even something I realized I wanted until I saw the Funko Cinderella movie poster set that was literally just released, I think, today, the day I'm recording this video. And that is like next level beauty. It's Cinderella twirling the dress around. You just get this beautiful sense of motion and kinetic movement that I am in love with. And looking at this, I'm getting that from Toto, not getting it from Dorothy. And clearly, this is before they've met up with Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion. So I don't know, I'd like to see a little bit more motion in her sculpt, like when she's doing that initial skip down the yellow brick road out of Munchkinland. But small things, small things. Speaking of the yellow brick road, that might be my favorite part of this entire set. The detailing on this yellow brick road is next level. And yes, I know it's just raised bricks, like it's nothing groundbreaking, but it creates a world for me, and I'm into that. So, all in all, are there things that I would personally adjust to make this my ideal movie poster set? Absolutely. But those are just small nitpicks. I think that this is an absolutely stunning tribute to the Wizard of Oz in Funko form. As a lifelong Oz collector and as a die-hard Funko Pop collector, this does not disappoint. I put it back in the box. Okay, now that we've reviewed these two brand new pops, it begs the question. After 10 years, Funko finally gave us not one, but two brand new Wizard of Oz pops. Does that mean that there are more on the way? I mean, I'll just get this out of the way. Nothing is official until Funko says that it's happening. And Funko hasn't said anything's happening yet, so nothing's official. But there are rumors. And not just rumors. There's like plausible evidence supporting said rumors. And it seems like brand new Wizard of Oz Funko Pops could potentially be on the horizon in one of two ways. Maybe even in two of two ways. And one of those ways, like I'm just going to say it, I don't like. And ironically, it's the way that's the most likely to happen. This is what I'm talking about. If anyone follows Legacy of Oz on Instagram, you probably know what I'm about to talk about. And if you don't, follow Legacy of Oz on Instagram, on Facebook. They are one of like the best Oz channels out there. I adore them. But they hypothesized something recently about how new Wizard of Oz Funko Pops could happen. And it makes a ton of sense, and I don't like it. As part of this Warner Brothers 100th anniversary collection, they've started releasing these mashups of classic Looney Tunes characters with other Warner Brothers or Warner Brothers owned properties. So recently they released an entire line of Funko Pops of Looney Tunes characters dressed up as Scooby-Doo characters. So we had Bugs Bunny as Fred, the Tasmanian Devil as Scooby, Daffy Duck as Shaggy, Lola Bunny as Daphne, and Tweety Bird as Velma. Which, like, you wouldn't think to link those two characters together, yet it's so perfect, and I love it. And I think that set is adorable. But maybe that's because I don't super care about Looney Tunes, and I only sort of care about the Scooby Gang. So when you mash them up together, it speaks to my heart, and I'm like, this is adorable, and I want it. However, Warner Brothers has also started to release merchandise mashing up Looney Tunes characters with Wizard of Oz characters. So far there's been a collectible silver coin as well as a Hot Wheels car. Like, it's a whole thing. There's a whole Hot Wheels line commemorating Warner Brothers 100th anniversary. Don't ask me why, but it's there. Now, I'm not personally planning to get either of these two things, but they are noteworthy because they are showing us how Warner Brothers has chosen to cast Looney Tunes characters as Oz characters. And maybe that's where I hold my biggest issue with it, because some of it makes sense. Lola Bunny as Dorothy makes sense. Sylvester the Cat as the Cowardly Lion makes so much sense. He's a feline and his speech patterns are not unlike Bert Lahr as the Cowardly Lion. I would watch the bleep out of that. But, Bugs Bunny as the Tin Man? Wile E. Coyote as the Scarecrow? That is sacrilege. That is Scarecrow sacrilege. I mean, I'm compelled to believe that they only made this choice because Bugs Bunny is gray and the Tin Man is gray, and Wile E. Coyote is like tan and brown colors, and like it matches the color palette of the Scarecrow. But the personalities just don't mesh. Anytime you're recasting The Wizard of Oz, you always put like the male lead equivalent as the Scarecrow. Like Mickey Mouse is the Scarecrow to Minnie Mouse's Dorothy. Bugs Bunny should be the Scarecrow to Lola Bunny's Dorothy. Or at the very least, don't make the Scarecrow Wile E. bleepin' Coyote. The Scarecrow is supposed to be just like this pure soul of friendship, and I look at Wile E. Coyote as the Scarecrow, he looks malicious, like he wants to kill me. So I don't know, I don't love the casting, but anyway, Legacy of Oz speculated, and I personally think it makes a lot of sense that we could see this carried through as Funko Pops, where we're getting the entire Looney Tunes cast as Wizard of Oz characters as Funko Pops. And I mean, if it happens, of course I'm going to buy them. I'm not going to be happy about it, but I'm going to buy them. So, that is one very realistic way that we could see Wizard of Oz Funko Pops joining our collections sooner rather than later. And of course, the second option is just getting a brand new wave of traditional Wizard of Oz character Funko Pops. And even though there's not as much evidence supporting that this could happen, there is still a little bit of evidence supporting that it could happen. Now, there are some rumors, and when I say rumors, they are literally just that. They're not even leaks. Like, we haven't had any leaked concept art or any leaked glam shots, but lists. We're looking at lists. If you dig far enough into Google, you can usually find lists of upcoming Funko Pop releases that, more often than not, are pretty accurate. I mean, the same website where I found this list also predicted or listed all of the Disney 100th Anniversary Collection Funko Pops, and they were pretty much spot on, like 100%. So maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part, but I saw a list that said at some point this year, we're going to get Funko Pops of Dorothy, Scarecrow, Tin Man, Lion, Glinda, and Wicked Witch of the West. So, pretty basic, just the 6 characters that they already released back in 2011/2013. We don't even get the Winged Monkey. But if we can just get comments of those 6 characters with updated sculpts that are in line with the design style that we get from Pops nowadays, that's all I want. Well, actually, no, that's not true. That's not all I want. I do have my wish list of Matt's Dream Wizard of Oz Funko Pops, so this last chunk of the video, I'm going to share those with you right now. So first off, let's talk about the key characters. We're going to be getting common releases of them, but I'd like to imagine what the chase variants could be for each character. In the case of Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion, I'd like to imagine that the chase variants would be them holding their gifts from the wizard, which is fully what the design was with those original Pops, but I'd like to see an updated sculpt, and I think it would make sense to have those as the chase variants as opposed to the regular common figures, because then they would just be like recycling a design for the wide release. But for the Dorothy chase, I would love to see a sepia-toned chase variant. Specifically one with black shoes instead of ruby slippers. I'm brilliant. Let's make it happen. Next up, in the vein of Elliot and E.T. riding their bike across the moon, I would love to see a Miss Gulch on her bike with Toto poking out of the basket as a Funko Pop. This is one that I've actually mentioned in past videos. I would love a Pop movie moment of the Wizard's throne room. I just want a suspended green Funko Pop head. And it would be so easy for Funko to do. They don't have to sculpt a body. Just give me like a display piece of a floating green head, throw some plastic fire there, you got a happy Matt. Next, I want a Pop town set of Dorothy's house. But not just any Dorothy's house. I want Dorothy's house with the feet of a witch corpse sticking out. And of course, because we all know Funko town sets are always buildings that come with an exclusive Funko Pop, I want my exclusive Funko Pop to be the Munchkin coroner holding the death certificate. And finally, we all want this. Maybe you don't realize that you want it, but you want it. A melting witch Funko Pop.
A melting
Can you imagine? It would just be so good. It would just be so good. So there you have it, friends. My not so quick recap on the past, present, and hopeful future of Wizard of Oz Funko Pops. And with that, this concludes yet another episode of Teacup 401. Let me know in the comment section down below, do you own any Wizard of Oz Funko Pops? And which character from Wizard of Oz or moment would you most like to see popified? And if you want to be the first to know when I release more videos about Funkos, Wizard of Oz, Disney, Shakespeare, or cats, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. And if you haven't subscribed already, it is so easy. All you gotta do is click on my face. Thanks for joining me today, everyone. My name is Matt and I have 2 degrees, and this has been the Teacup for 1. Go watch my video on the history of the canceled Wizard of Oz theme park. It was gonna be so magical, then they canceled it.